I don't know what timeline we're living in. Look, I'm a little depressed. I'm Italian, as you know, which means I enjoy gloating. Also, because I'm Northern Italian, I enjoy Schadenfreude, which is the enjoyment you derive from the ironic suffering of other people. But I can't do that right now, because the people that should be suffering aren't smart enough to know that they're suffering. Yeah, like we can poke fun. See, you're stupid. You believe this guy, but they don't know. They don't know. All right, today, something really stupid from Pierre Poilievre. Surprise. Mr. No New Wars is in a bunch of new wars, and one of them is probably going to ruin your vacation. And de-dollarization must be a massive issue, because Citigroup says it's not an issue. Let me start with this guy. I would seek a tariff-free deal. This guy needs security clearance now. I think all MPs should be required to have security clearance, and they should be punished for their bullshit. Oh, if he got security clearance, he'd be muzzled. The rest of us call that telling the truth. Look, there are two ways. Currently, there are two ways, guaranteed ways, to avoid tariffs. Way number one, become part of Russia. Oh no, Russia didn't get tariffs because the U.S. doesn't trade with them. The U.S. doesn't trade with penguins either. The penguins got tariffs. The other way is to become part of the United States, which is what he wants. Because almost half of conservative voters approve of Donald Trump. The rest of these approvals, though, the Bloc Québécois I kind of understand, but Green Party? NDP? What? These people didn't understand the question. Oh, there you go again, saying Trump works with Russia. After Russia's drone incursion, don't cut military support for the Baltics. The United States has cut military support for the Baltics. Yeah, even though Russia is just blatantly going into NATO territory, the United States is going to do nothing about it. Interesting. Oh, Mr. No New Wars is going to go back into Afghanistan instead. Require security clearance for all MPs. If they required security clearance for all MPs, the Conservative Party would be decimated. All right, de-dollarization must be a massive problem because Citigroup has gone out of the way to say de-dollarization is a mirage. It's a narrative. It ain't happening. Citigroup makes a ton of money off of international transactions, especially large international transactions like between countries and stuff. I'm telling you, this headline wouldn't even exist if there was no problem, because there are a lot of worrisome headlines out there. Investors withdrew a massive US $43.19 billion from US equity funds over the past week. We're going to bring manufacturing back to the United States. Behind closed doors, a majority of CEOs admit they won't boost U.S. investments as tariffs hurt their businesses. We're going to make those cars here. Unpredictable tariff expansion makes it harder to justify U.S. investments, automakers and suppliers warn. Then, of course, there's this new worrisome tidbit. Pentagon demands journalists sign pledge not to gather certain information. Pentagon steps up media restrictions, now requiring approval before reporting even unclassified info. That's right. If the Pentagon doesn't like it, it doesn't get reported. This will bleed through the entire government, and everything that they don't like will become a national security issue. Whatever's in those Epstein files must be enormously destructive. Know this. Japan and the United Kingdom have just hit record levels of holding U.S. treasuries because China's dumping them. See, China's is decreasing. These guys are increasing. We hit our record in June, and then we started decreasing. I don't have the stats for August yet. Lastly, if you plan on going on vacation to the Caribbean, just remember there's a war going on. You may be saying, what are you talking about? They're just bombing fishing boats. They're fighting the cartels. They're fighting the cartels in Venezuela. The cartel in Venezuela is the government. It's the military. Still, same thing. Yeah, all these accusations about Venezuela being a narco state, that's true. It's 100% true. Biggest cartel in Venezuela is Cartel of the Suns. Do you know how it got its name? Because the generals in the Venezuelan military have this little sun insignia. That's right, Cartel of the Suns is the Venezuelan military. So yeah, they blew up fishing boats, but if those were cartel boats, then the United States has struck another military. And this is where all the stuff moves. As you can see, it moves throughout the Caribbean. Dominican Republic, Cuba, Puerto Rico, Jamaica. All those wonderful vacation spots. Just wanted to give you a heads up. It's the first day of fall. And as the weather gets cooler, we move towards that horrible thing that we know as winter. and you start looking for vacation spots, just know that the Caribbean is a war zone.